The Uncle Gold Podcast. Welcome to the Uncle Gold Podcast. My name is Borna Zuber, and I started this podcast recently with the goal and idea to kind of improve our lives and make our lives better. And for everyone that's watching or listening to this podcast, I'm sure that not everyone had a rich uncle in life who told them how to get the gold in life. And this podcast was a little bit inspired by Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad Poor Dad. We're going to go into like the uncle version where we invite people who have the right mindset and they can contribute to people listening. And we're gonna want to go into developing ourselves through this podcast. And today we have a special guest here, Jonathan Clery. We became friends last year, and we kind of shared this self-development mindset. Jonathan, welcome to the Uncle Gold Podcast.
Yeah, what a great name. Thanks for having me, man. Yeah, always a pleasure speaking with you.
Thanks, man. Thanks for taking the time. Dude, I wanted to talk to you because I feel that we kind of vibed at the first, well, it started with the girls actually. Like Dad told me like, all right, Alexander's Jonathan, you have to meet him. You guys are kind of on the same level. You should definitely meet. And then we went for that lunch. Can you take it from there? Can you let the audience know a little bit about yourself, who you are and what you do, and kind of how we met and how this whole story got started?
Yeah, well, Alexandra, my partner, said the exact same thing to me, that, oh my God, like I had an amazing time with Dea and you need to meet her partner, Borna. So yeah, we went to a hotel, and, the waiter didn't do his job right. And he brought us the wrong drinks. But yeah, and we had a laugh, and, we kind of clicked pretty much straight away. I know you and Dea went to a kind of mindset or millionaire event, and yeah, we had a great chat about that. The energy was right straight away, and yeah, we kind of clicked. And here we are, plenty of drinks and food later, but yeah, we're still talking about mindset and money and how to grow in life.
Yeah, definitely. I think those are really interesting topics, especially now where we have like internet and everything happening online, where there's like just like so many opportunities. But can you tell us a little bit about yourself, like where you're from, what you do, and how did your journey with self-development start? Like, do you remember when you first heard about it? I think that's kind of the point that's very interesting for me.
Yeah, sure. So during my first year in college, like obviously your environment affects your behavior. So during my first year in college, all I heard around me was, first year in college is easy, don't worry about it, you'll pass the exams. So, I accepted that thought, but it wasn't that easy. So I failed a lot of my exams. So I basically told my parents, I'm not going back to college, it's not for me, and I wanted to get working and earning money straight away. So we kind of met halfway, and I took a year out, and I worked a sales job. And if anyone is listening to this, if you want to make money, if you want to get ahead in life, go work a sales job. I don't care how much it pays or how long you do it. Go work a sales job. Sales is one of the most important things in life. You'll develop a proper mindset. You'll get used to hearing no. It's just one of the best jobs out there that you can get. So I worked a sales job, lasted a few months, but those guys just opened me up to this whole abundant mindset, law of attraction. Never heard of it before, didn't know what it was, thought it was scammy and bullshit. But again, your environment, your environment affects you. So I kind of took it on board, and I started to read into it a bit more. They recommended me, some books like Think and Grow Rich. Started reading them, and kind of all kicked off, and I've been kind of hooked ever since.
Awesome stuff, man. I also connected that story because I also did a few sales jobs. For me, it was kind of the same. I started like a normal job in a call center, and then at one point I was like putting in a lot more effort than my colleagues. And I was like, why are we getting paid the same? Like, shouldn't
Yeah.
I, who am putting like a lot more effort in, get more money? And then, oh yeah, you'll get it after like a few years working there. And I'm like, oh no, man. So I started looking for a new job and also decided to go for sales. For me, it was very interesting that if you put in more effort, you can get a lot more out of it, because you had the commission based and targets and
Yeah.
everything that kind of helped you along to make more money. And I loved that part. That's kind of the first thing that attracted me to sales jobs as well. And hearing about the success mindset, yeah, I think it was from a friend as well. It wasn't a colleague. I think it was a friend in college that told me about Tony Robbins first. It wasn't Think and Grow Rich, but it was one of the first books that I read on self-development. And it's really a remarkable book, like with so much insight. Can you tell me a little bit, how would you define self-development for someone? Let's say someone hears it for the first time, just like we did a few
Yeah.
years back and never heard about it. What's self-development? What's this whole idea of improving yourself and your mind and consciousness and all of that? Can you go a little bit into that?
Yeah, look, a great question. And unfortunately, I think the self-development industry doesn't do a good job with the whole introduction. It was kind of started back in the Earl Nightingale and Napoleon Hill time, back in the early 1900s. But then Tony Robbins is kind of seen as the OG, and he took it to a whole new level. But you know what? There's a big movie called The Secret and the book The Secret, and that's where the whole law of attraction was kind of introduced to the masses. But they don't do a great job in the book of telling people really how the law of attraction works. Like, it's super complicated, and they make it seem really easy, and you just sit on your mother's couch and you visualize a mansion and there you go, you're done, cool, off with you. But it doesn't really work like that. So I guess as an introduction, I think Trevor Moawad, who's a kind of sports psychologist, you would call him, does a really good job with the introduction into self-development. And he talks about this whole concept of neutral thinking. Now, neutral thinking is, we've all heard of positive thinking. It's all up here and it's la-di-da and life's wonderful and you got these rose-colored glasses on. And then we've heard of negative thinking, which is, we've all known them. People just complain the whole time. But neutral thinking is looking at the situation without any emotion. And it's looking at the situation as it is. And no matter how bad the situation is or how good it might be, you take it for what it is. And you base your next actions or your next thoughts off what the situation is right now. No emotion, no ego, no confidence, no lack of knowledge, no ignorance. What it is right now. These are the hard facts. And a really good exercise for people is that if you're ever feeling a certain way or you have a current result, write it out in detail, about a paragraph, and then highlight what are the emotions and what are the facts. And a lot of the time, the facts differentiate from the emotions. Mm-hmm. So then you can base your thinking and your next actions off the current situation and what are the facts. Mm-hmm. Make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, so I think that's the really good introduction into it is just neutral thinking. It's hard to jump from negative to positive straight away because life happens, bills come, debts happen, health happens, injuries happen. People will cut you off in traffic and beep at you and, do things that make you upset. So if you can go from negative to neutral, just a simple fact is like 3 minutes of negative news a day increases your chances of saying you had a bad day by 27%. If your environment affects you, then what's your environment? Is your social media full of your friends showing off, living the big life? Is it them eating out when they can't really afford it? Is it them traveling to places they can't afford to travel to? And now you're comparing yourself and you're in this negative state. And you can go down this negative spiral very quickly. So instead of just trying to jump from negative to positive and going and reading all these books and the Tony Robbins seminars and whatever, just go from negative to neutral. Just look at the situation as it is, leave the emotion out of it, and then you can act and think. And then from neutral, once you can do that on a daily basis, pretty consistent, then you can make your way to positive. You know, and one of the easiest ways there is gratitude. Every day, write down 3 things. What are you grateful for? Doesn't have to be big. It can be small. Clothes, roof over your head, technology. Yeah. So
friends, family, stuff like that.
Easy. Yeah. Neutral thinking. I think that should be the introduction into it. And it'll change your life. I mean, you don't need to go into positive thinking and understand conscious and subconscious straight away. Just neutral thinking, you know, stop complaining. It'll have a huge effect on your life.
Definitely. I love that a lot of people got into it actually during this whole COVID lockdown. I think some people got amazing results out of it. I think some people desperately needed it.
Yeah.
I think that some people were hearing about it for a long time and kind of gave in. And yeah, I think that it kept a lot of people going to this time. I know it helped me throughout the last few years a lot. I can 100% say that I'm a different person than I was. I feel a lot better, and I think just the results come if you put in the work to it. Tell me, what else could you say, like, if somebody just started working on themselves, and let's say they write out from like their negative thoughts that they're having, and kind of do this neutral thinking where they look at the facts and the emotions, and I said the obvious move would be to kind of dial down the negative emotions, right, and look at the facts that they're not that bad and try to find the positive in it. What else could someone do to kind of make their life better? Would you go into changing your environment, or would it be like changing the people around you, or what would you advise someone starting, or is it just like books and audiobooks? Like,
you know, the easiest thing you can do is, we all have social media. We're all on it. If you're watching this video, you definitely have it. Go through your social media. It all starts with self-awareness. You know, if you don't want to unfollow people, you don't have to unfollow them, but go mute them. Mute the stories and mute the posts. If they're not serving you, then why is it there? Right? And ask yourself that. Develop that self-awareness. Is this serving me? And self-questioning is one of the best things that you can do. So start with your social media. Unfollow people. I've unfollowed hundreds of people that weren't serving me over the past few months. So start there, right? Develop that level of self-awareness. And then that's the simple thing. And then, you know, you can unfollow people in real life as well. I know I've done it. And it's helped tremendously. You know, set those boundaries, unfollow people in real life. Yeah, and I think that's one of the best ways to start. You know, I saw a really good video a few weeks back, and it's a good imagery for the mind. And this guy had a big glass bowl of water, and he says this represents your mind when we're first born, right? You're clean slate, just into the world. Then he started shoveling dirt into it. And he said, this is your parents' conditioning. You eat the food your parents ate. You listen to the music your friends listen to. You know, you go to school where they go to school. You play sport on the same team. Everyone's conditioning you from a very, very young age. So we haven't developed the conscious part of our mind yet. We haven't decided what's good, what's bad. We just accept. So you start shoveling the dirt in. Okay, now that clean slate isn't so clean anymore. And when you're getting into the personal development, you need to flood yourself with positivity. It's the only way. True. You need to flood your whole environment, starting with the social media, going into real life, flood yourself with the positivity. Yeah. Instead of listening to the news, throw on a podcast, put on some good upbeat music. You know, change your world, small steps at a time, but keep on doing it. When I'm in the car, say it again.
Spending time in nature, brilliant.
Oh, it's unbelievable. Unbelievable. You know, when I'm in the car, I do 3 things. I either listen to music, listen to a podcast, or else turn off the radio. There's no news there.
Yeah.
It's off.
Yeah.
Right? So start small. All of these mental habits that you're building, it has to start with small steps. If you want to build a habit of being persistent, start in the shower. Turn on the cold water for 10 seconds at the end.
Yeah.
Start there.
Mm.
You don't need to save €100 every single day for 30 days or something. Just start very simply. Start with the social media and then expand it.
I have a feeling that a lot of people start their self-development journey and get to the level of self-awareness where they think like, all right, I can do more, I deserve more in life, I'm going to start my own business. And then they kind of start going down the route of trying to improve their life through that. And you mentioned earlier that you have a business. It's a coaching business, and you're helping entrepreneurs with their business, or are you just focusing on mindset, or how do you approach that?
Yeah, so there's kind of two parts to it. So the whole idea is that I'm helping professionals launch their side business. Now, a lot of that is mindset. You can't have a good business without a good mindset. So a lot of it is mindset, but some people just come to me for the business strategies, the sales scripts, organic lead generation, things like that. So there's kind of two parts to it. The full package is the mindset and the business strategies. And yeah, you launch, 4 or 5 figure side business within 60 days. And I have one of my clients is in India, and she just makes me smile. Like lately, so she's trying to move out at the moment, and she's just setting those intentions. The small steps. She's going to see the houses where she wants to live. She's messaging people. She's asking people about this area. She's walking the area she wants to live in, and she's just setting those intentions. And she's, she put in a lot of work, a lot of repetition, changing the environment. She did the worksheets and the video tutorials, and she's seen massive results now. Her goal is for December 15th. I think she's going to hit the next month. So it's just incredible seeing people, take action and just take charge of their lives. And, regardless of their environment, they can change. And they're putting in the work.
Awesome stuff, man. You're very convincing, and you sound great when you talk about stuff. I'm sure that you're great at sales. Let's go back to the base thinking of somebody first time heard about sales and they're thinking of starting their own business. Like, what would you give some tips for people how to improve their sales skills, or how to get better at presenting their product or selling their product, or their company, or themselves for just a job interview? I know I'm in the IT industry, and we get kind of the same question, like, how can I present myself better to a job interviewer? And I think it's kind of the same thing, but I would also like to hear your opinion on the whole sales perspective.
Yeah, look at the sales. 80-90% of sales has to do with mindset. And the best mindset you can have about sales is that it's not about you, it's about them. So one of the hardest lessons that I learned was that you are not going to sell something unless you believe in it. You have to believe in your product or service that you're selling. Otherwise, it's going to come across to the other person at the other side of that phone, or however you're communicating with them. Yeah. And I learned that the hard way. Like my first sales job, all I was trying to do was pay the rent and pay the food bill. I was sleeping on a mattress on the floor. So, look at mindset has helped me come a long way. And yeah, a lot of things start with mindset, and sales is definitely one of them. So concentrate on the other person. Just some basic sales tips is, there's definitely a huge psychology with sales. Usually creating an emotional dissonance helps a lot. So when I'm trying to sign clients, I create that emotional dissonance by asking them probing questions and getting them talking a lot. So, asking them questions like, how long has this been happening? How long, how long can you go on like this? Or, a variation of that question. So this is your current situation. Tell me how long you've been in this situation. How is it affecting your life? Has it affected other parts of your life? So creating those emotional feelings, people, there's emotion and logic when it comes to sales. So you need to have a product or service that when they're ready to buy, but you need to create the emotional attachment as well for them. So sales is a huge part of business. One of the best things you can do is just, people hear the word sales and they're like, all they think about is the secondhand car salesman with the sleazy haircut and or the
Take
insurance
this
guy.
one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and he's super pushy, but just change wording is really important, right? The words you use tell you what's going on in your head. So instead of saying sales, say serving. Easy things like that. So it's all about mindset. Yeah, just think about the other person. You're not there just to get the money. You're there to serve them as well. And I think you should push a little bit, but not too hard. Because at the end of the day, that your product or service will change their life. So why not push a little bit? It's gonna impact their life, right? And it's gonna change their life. So, why wouldn't you want them to have it?
Of course, especially if you believe in the product. I kind of made the same mistake that you just mentioned earlier of choosing a company that wasn't right for me. One of my first jobs, it was in telecommunications, and they were like selling this like tariffs and options for your phone plan, and I kind of always had the feeling that communication should be free, which we're kind of going towards slowly, but we're kind of getting there because using the phone is getting cheaper and cheaper every year. And I think we're kind of going in that direction. So selling tariffs and plans for me was kind of going in the wrong direction, and I was like, yeah, this is a good deal. But people could feel it that I didn't believe in it. So I had terrible results in that. And also I didn't have any practice. It was my first sales job talking to people. I agree that wording is very important. I also believe it takes a lot of reps. Like you won't do it on the first or the second try. I really think that the 10,000 hour rule applies there. Like if you put in the time and the work, effort, energy, learning about it, expanding your knowledge and all that, then you can get like extraordinary good results. If you don't, you probably won't. You'll probably be bad at it, which is kind of, I think that actually happens with sleazy salesmen. They're trying the same thing over and over, and then if it doesn't work, then they just push, and then it becomes like stop selling this to me, right? And I think the right way to go about it is to practice a lot.
Yeah, look, at that applies to everything in life. You got to put in the reps. Like there's so many people entitled out there and they want success and the $1 million a year income, but they're not willing to put in the work. And like it is a huge problem in our society at the moment. Like we have these things and everything's instantaneous, and there's instant coffee and phones and likes and comments and notifications and everything.
Do you think social media did that to us?
I think it was a big push towards society, but I think it was happening a bit before it. There's this natural evolution of society. We're better off than our parents were. Our parents are better off than their grandparents were, et cetera, et cetera. One of the questions you should really ask yourself is like, are you just going to be the natural evolution? Are you going to completely screw up your family tree, or are you going to change your family's line history forever?
Yeah.
Right? Like which one? It's one of three. Which one are you going to be? You're going to take the 9 to 5 or the social welfare or whatever else, or the handouts and the gimmies and just keep going on with your life, or you're going to put in the work. You're going to do the 10,000 hours and change your family's line history forever. So yeah, it's a part of society, and it's a money mindset kind of thing, and it's a problem that a lot of people have and that they need to change. But again, you want to change it, start small and just develop that self-awareness.
True. I'm also convinced that social media, although it brought us a lot of this, like looking at keeping up with the Joneses, but I also think it brought a lot of opportunity to a lot of people, and that actually a lot of people learned a lot through it. So I am thankful for it, and I tend to focus on the positive. So I tend to look at, what's good about this? And I see a lot of good in social media. Like there are a lot of like initiatives to help people out there, just like non-financial, and I know that you're involved in something like that. If I remember, it was something connected with the oceans. Can you remind me of that one? What were you doing again?
Yeah, so I give 20% of my clients' profits towards we do coral reef restoration in Mauritius, so just off the coast of Africa. So yeah, we do a lot of work down there.
Awesome stuff. Did you learn about that first through social media by any chance?
Um, about so we went on holidays to Mauritius there last year, and we stayed in the Hilton and we did scuba diving and we kind of teamed up with them. In terms of, I think it was Netflix that put us on to kind of climate change and coral reef restoration and that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was Netflix. You know, one of those documentaries that always hook you.
Mm. On the business side, would you recommend businesses going into social media, or would you have them rather go the old school direct sales and phone sales and email sales and all that, all those cycles?
Yeah, look at so there's, you know, a lot of people hear of the law of attraction, but so there's laws of the universe, and one of the laws of the universe is the law of polarity. So the law of polarity is basically there's a positive to and negative to everything, right? Night follows day, black and white, right? Positive, negative, right? It goes on and on. It's the law of polarity, and it's the same thing with social media. It's a double-edged sword. So it can be really good, or else it can be really bad. So you know, what's on your social media? In terms of business, I mean, I've made thousands off Instagram, but only because I developed that self-awareness and I put in the reps to get it done. I hired a mentor, I got the business strategies, I developed the mindset. Now that's all I use it for. I'm not on social media to see what my friends are doing at the weekend. I'm on there to make money. So I message people every day, I engage, I create content. I'm a bit slacking these days, I'm gonna be honest, but you know, I'm getting it. But that's what I was saying to you just before this call, is that I'm putting my self-care now a lot first, right? Yeah. Surfing, golf, out in nature, spending time with my family. So like, you know, I'm doing that a lot lately. And I'm totally okay with that. You're going to go through different seasons in life. Yeah. You're going to have different wants and priorities. So, you know, social media is great, but yeah, you just, you know, if you're looking to make money off it, then make sure that your whole social media is designed around to make money. Mm-hmm. Have the business account, batch your work, 1 hour in the morning, 1 hour in the evening. Get off it then. You're not there to see what your friends are doing. Yeah. Right? Yeah. So it's brilliant for business. It's one thing my partner Alexandra does. She helps businesses. I mean, she's tripled and quadrupled followers online. And as a result, people's profits are going up because your awareness is there. And I was speaking to one of my friends who owns a hotel in town, and she was saying, you know, social media is not really a priority for me because we're full every night anyway. Well, that's fine during the good times, but during the bad times, when there's only a select amount of people coming to the town, you know, and they're looking for a hotel, all social media, they're all backlinks, you know, it's all SEO, you're all brand awareness. I mean, if you're using it for business, I mean, what's the downfall?
You got to put in the reps.
All day.
Yeah. Tell me about your daily routine. Like that's also a really strong interest point for me. I kind of don't have my mornings in check. I think when I get a day going, it goes really, really well. But some mornings I just don't do it properly. Tell me about your daily routine. Like what are some of the sticking points and main areas that you improved on and worked upon?
I mean, I've done the whole like get up at 5 a.m., go exercise, meditate, gratitude, cold showers, get into work your ass off for the day, have no life, and, you know, screw the weekends and just hustle. And I just got burnt out. So, I mean, if you want to do that, power to you. It doesn't really work for me. You know, the biggest thing for me is just keeping my mindset, neutral thinking. Don't go to negative. You know, I like to so there's willpower, right, in your day. Like if you think of your brain and your mind as, you know, a phone battery, then you charge it overnight. It's 100% when you wake up in the morning. But what's it going to be at 4, 5, 6, 7? You know what I mean? You're not going to have the same willpower in the evening or the mindset or the brain power to make the big decisions in the evening as you are in the morning. So whatever you do, whatever important stuff you need to do, get it done in the morning. So there's a really good exercise called rocks, pebbles, and sand. So the
All right.
rocks are the non-negotiables, stuff you got to do every single day to get you moving forward and get your business moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they're the rocks. The pebbles then are the things that need to get done but don't really drive you on. Like, I don't know, it could be something simple as like doing laundry or like clean the house or, you know, doing a bit of exercise, right? Whatever. Okay, and then the sand is all the stuff, the meaningless stuff that doesn't do anything for you. Scrolling through social media, eating junk food, right? We're just wasting time. Okay, so understand what your non-negotiables are. And I try to do that every day before, like, let's say 12 or 1 o'clock, right? I just try and do it before it hits the afternoon.
Awesome.
And then in the afternoons, it's a lot of self-care for me. You know, I think I see a lot of people around me getting older, you know, whether it's my parents or my partner's parents. And yeah, self-care is just, you know, it's really, really important. So there's definitely a fine line between making sacrifices now and doing the hustle and growing. But, you know, could be over, no need to get grim, but yeah, it could be over there tomorrow or next week. So, you know, enjoy it now as well, you know, while we're young and there's a few less responsibilities, you know.
That's also part of neutral thinking, right? You have to take in the numbers into account. Like one day it will be your last day, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, no use in getting hung up on that one. It's important to do stuff like that and take care of yourself. And I think during this lockdown COVID situation, a lot of people got aware of that and kind of got into it for the first time and got some amazing results out of it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think the lockdown has, you know, everyone, all I've heard negative is just like on the news when I do look at it, right? Like once a week or something. Every person I've actually talked to one-on-one has had a great time.
Yeah.
Put stuff into priority. I'm not working as much. I've actually explored my local area or my country. It's amazing. Like you were in Belfast a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have gone to Belfast if you could travel to Croatia or Spain. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of good coming out of it.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah, I agree 100%. I started focusing down on YouTube and the podcast because we were spending more time at home anyway, you know, because of the lockdown. And I thought it could kind of be the way of improving things, especially on the side hustle side. And I really do enjoy talking to people like you. And I have a feeling that when you do go for a coffee or a beer or something, stay there for an hour or two, and you kind of don't have enough time to say everything to each other and exchange everything. And even if you do, you kind of forget some of the stuff. So this is a great way of jumping on it. Like set a scheduled amount of time. You go through the topics that you kind of set out for yourself. It makes it more focused, more oriented on the main points. And then again, you have it later, like in a year, if you want to remember, like, oh, what did I talk about with Jonathan? He mentioned something there about golf, how it's good on business. I'll rewatch the episode. I'll just re-download it in my mind and refresh, and you get another benefit out of it, right? So that's why I went kind of down that route. I felt like I had my routine pretty good together, even before lockdown. And this whole travel thing, like I would have done more conferences, to be honest. Like that was kind of one of the goals for 2020. I just wanted to meet more people in general, and kind of lockdown stopped all of that. And for a few months, nothing was happening. And then a lot of companies adapted and started doing like online conferences, online seminars, live Q&As and stuff like that. So I'm trying to book a few of those until the end of the year. And yeah, just get to know people through that, you know. So I think that's very important to stay in touch with people, have a regular communication. I see that the only people that I noticed that weren't doing good during this whole lockdown thing were those that were kind of locked down on their own and weren't chatting with other people. So I think that one of the huge factors in this whole self-development thing is, as you mentioned before, doing the sales part, doing the communications part, actually spending time with people. It's amazing. Like you learn so much and you feel better. I think people are social animals, you know, we need it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And you need to adapt, right? So, you know, there's no excuse to be lonely during this. Obviously, like talking to a screen isn't the same as one-on-one, but I mean, you can still hear words. Words are important. They put images on the screen of your mind. So, you know, you still get that, and it's just minding your own thoughts. I mean, if you can't, there's obviously different personalities in the world, right? But if you can't learn to be comfortable by yourself, then it's going to be incredibly hard to want success and to be successful at the top, because you're going to lose a lot of people along the way, right? Obviously, you're going to gain friends as well, but you're going to be spending a lot of time by yourself, a lot of time putting in the hours. You're going to lose a lot of your old friends because you're doing something different, right? So you need to learn how to be comfortable by yourself.
Exactly. I agree. It's hard for people, especially people who have been around other people all their lives. I had always admired, like going back to sales, I always admired people who were naturally good at sales. Like I wasn't like that. Maybe for some things that I'm really truly passionate about, like, I don't know, video games or stuff like that. You know, I can chat for hours and people really do feel the energy. But some people are just natural at whatever you get them, like sell me a rock and they'll just do it, right? And I was always like, oh, wow, like I wish I could do that, right? And then I'm sure they had it because they spent a huge amount of time with other people, and just through osmosis and observing, they learned a lot naturally. And now this whole lockdown kind of set them back because they didn't have their natural environment where they were thriving. So they kind of had to go into the be on your own, like inner world discovery. And I think a lot of people struggled with that. But I find that part to be kind of the most exciting part, because if you can master that, like there's no obstacles, right? If you can handle the people around you and the inner state of mind that you have, like there's basically nothing else left, right?
Yeah, that's it. Look, it starts with mindset. One of my last business mentors, or my last business mentor, told me the success hierarchy, right? And the success hierarchy is basically a pyramid. And at the bottom is energy, intention, and mindset. And you need to put in the reps and the hours. And those are the things that, first of all, build a foundation, but they're also the things you need to put the most time into. Mm-hmm. At the top, then you have tools. Tools is ClickFunnels and Instagram and Facebook. You can learn to make money off those very quickly. Doesn't take a lot of time. Took him about a day. He's making millions, right, throughout the year. So it doesn't take a lot of time to learn how to use Instagram to make money off it, but it takes a crazy amount of time to build the right success mindset. And, you know, one word out there that's probably going to change anyone's life listening to this is the word paradigm, right? And a paradigm is basically a belief system that you have, or beliefs that you have, right? And we act out of beliefs. Habitually, we act out of beliefs. So if you can learn how to change the paradigm through repetition, as we were talking about, flooding yourself with positivity, you're going to change your mindset. Think about how many times and the go-to thought patterns you have throughout the day. It's just habits. You've been doing it for so long. And if it took you years, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, whatever age you are listening to this, if it took you all those years to build up that belief system, to build up the thought patterns and the habits, it's going to take quite a bit of time to change those. But you can do it through repetition. You know, and it starts with self-awareness, small steps, and repetition. You change your mindset, you change your life.
Agree. Money is a huge pain point for a lot of people. And you can get to it with mindset, but with action as well. Let's go there for a second. Let's say someone discovers this podcast and they're like, oh, I'm in my high school days, I'm thinking of starting my career somewhere, and they have the money mindset in mind, like they're aware of it. They want to improve their life.
Yeah.
How would you go about giving them advice? Like they basically don't have a direction where they're going. So I presume setting goals would be one of them, but how would you direction someone towards money and making more?
Look, when it comes to money, there's two kind of main mindsets there. There's a scarcity mindset and an abundant mindset. There we go. Abundant mindset, scarcity mindset, right? So, you know, it's kind of hard. I was thinking about this earlier on because I'm going to make a video about it as well. But it's kind of hard to have a mindset about money that's not a consequence of your mindset in another part of your life, right? So if you're not willing to step out of your comfort zone in other areas of your life, if you know that everyone around you is earning 30, 50 grand a year and you want to earn 100 grand a year, and you're not willing, you know that you have to do something different, right? You can't just work the 9 to 5. You got to go do something different if you want to earn 100 grand a year. But if you're not willing to go and change your career, or start a side hustle or something like that, that's actually going to get you there, right? So there's that part of it. And then there's the other smaller parts of it. So let's say everyone around you is earning the 30, 50 grand a year, right? And they all go partying on the weekend, right? If you go party on the weekend, if you're not willing to take the small action step of not partying on the weekend, then how can you possibly go and earn 100 grand a year? Right? If those 30 to 50 grand a year people are not persistent, and you're also not persistent, then how can you possibly double, triple your income? You know what I mean? So like, you got to start small. So there's a scarcity and abundant mindset, right? They're the two basic mindsets. The scarcity mindset, so let's dive into the self-awareness a little bit here. Scarcity mindset thinks it's a zero-sum game. You take some, you lose some, right? If you're on a sales call with a scarcity mindset, if you give this person €1, that's the euro gone. You don't see it as an investment. Take some, you lose some. There's only so much pie to give around, right? That's the scarcity mindset. The abundant mindset would be on the sales call saying, how will this change my life? Okay, cool. You're taking my money. How long is it going to take to double it? 6 months, 12 months, 5 years? Okay, cool. I'll do that. You give some and the thing grows. There's a return on it. So you need to understand the two mindsets when it comes to money. Now, okay, so let's go back to your question. Say someone in high school or secondary school or whatever, they're like, 18, 19, and they don't really know where to go. They kind of want the abundant mindset, but everyone around them has a scarcity mindset. Okay. So first of all, you got to go from negative to neutral. Got to stop complaining. You got to stop comparing yourself on Instagram. You got to stop listening to shit music. Start listening to podcasts, right? So start there.
100%.
And then after that, you like flood yourself with positivity. If you want an abundant mindset, who are you listening to? Go listening to, okay, so this is one of the most important things that I did. I picked 3 to 4 people that I wanted to live like. I didn't have 10 or 20 people on my social media that I took ideas from. I compared them. I went, this is one obstacle, the really frugal penny pincher dude. And then there's the billionaire. All right, which one do I want?
Yeah, it's always a choice.
Right? So again, self-awareness. So you need to understand, like, how much wealth do you actually want? Do you want to create generational wealth, passive income and side hustles and investments and all this stuff? Or do you actually just want to earn like, 200 grand a year? Okay, with 200K a year, I can actually do quite a bit and live a very happy life. It doesn't always have to be the millionaire status. So, a lot of this stuff is just based around happiness and self-care, right?
Yeah.
So actually understand what you do want. So pick 3 to 4 people to follow online and mentor you to get you to that stage, right? Yeah. So if you want to be, the billionaires and, if you want to do a bit of a hippie billionaire, as Jesse Eatzler is doing, he's the founder of like private jet company. He's married to Sarah Blakely, founder of Spanx, and but he's vegan, growing the beard out, the hair long, he's biking and stuff. So that could be one stage. You could do the Grant Cardone, the real estate mogul, hustling, the Gary Vaynerchuk, all about work, or people like Graham Stephan, who's he's a millionaire, but he's super frugal as well. right? So you got to understand which one you want. I'd recommend looking at Ramit Sethi. He, he has this, I think he coined this term, it's called money dials. And it's helped me earn lots of money and, increase my happiness at the same time. So money dial is basically, you think of a dial, right? When a dial points towards something, it's pointing away from something else, right? So for myself and Alexandra, we love to travel, right? So the dial was pointing towards travel. We spent a lot of money on travel, but we didn't spend so much money on designer clothes. Okay, I don't wear Gucci shoes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I got Nike shoes on sale in town, right? In the Nike store. You know what I mean? So we don't spend on the designer stuff, but we spend a lot on travel. We nearly overspend on travel. So, but it makes us happy, right? So money dials are a really cool way. If you want to get into budgeting, understand how to earn money and also increase your happiness, check out money dials, and just understand who you want to follow online.
I didn't hear about money dials. I'll definitely look into that.
Yeah,
so it's basically the idea, if you're going towards something, you also have to move away from something else.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, and it'll just give you that self-discipline as well to not spend on stuff that doesn't make you happy.
You know what comes to mind here? Les Brown, when he was talking about losing some friends, he was like, yeah, all right, you want to change your life? Like, look at the people around you, and some of them would actually have to go if you want to achieve something that's in none of their paradigms. I think the mastermind principle here applies a lot. I've spoken to a friend of mine called Dominic a lot. We truly do believe in that. And it's basically the idea that you're basically going to be on the level of the 5 to 10 people that you spend most time with. And if they're in a bad place, you're probably going to be in a bad place as well. If they're aiming for something higher and going in a better direction, you're probably on that tail flying along with them, right? Tell me, you obviously do, but do you have any mentors? Do you have people who help you along, kind of go in that direction forward? And can you tell us a little bit more examples of people that inspired you, that you learned from, kind of like, if somebody just discovered this podcast and is thinking of improving their life, where would they aim at?
Yeah, look there's a few principles of success, and one of them is masterminding and having a mentor. I mean, Warren Buffett, one of his most famous quotes is, the best investment you can make is in yourself, right? So you believe on two planes of understanding, right? You believe on the conscious level and on the subconscious level. So you might hear a fact or a story and you go, yeah, I believe that. Yeah, I get it. Makes sense. Cool. And you'll go on about your day and you'll kind of forget about it, right? Now, believing on the subconscious level, your beliefs are integrated with your actions. So when you believe something, when you truly believe it, you will act upon it. So it took me a while after I heard that Warren Buffett quote, but last year we invested in ourselves, and we invested a lot of money. We nearly overinvested actually into mentors, right, and coaches. So I had a mindset coach and I had a business coach. The mindset coach was amazing, told me about paradigms, huge level of self-awareness. It was incredible. Look, it changed our lives. Like we've earned crazy amounts of money just from that mindset coach, but they didn't quite touch on the business side of things. So then I hired a business coach this year called Xander Fryer. He's over in California. He works closely with Craig Ballantyne. He did a great job. He's like the coach of coaches. So I was growing my coaching business. So he told me all the strategies I need to know. Again, it's funny, like he tells you all the business strategies and stuff you need to know. 6-week course, and what's in it mindset. There's mindset in the business course. Like you can't build a business without mindset.
Yeah.
It starts there, right? So he also did mindset work. So look, you got to, save up. If you need to hire a mentor or a coach, you just It's going to streamline your success. It's going to save you so much money. Even though you're spending a lot of money on them, it saves you a lot of money. Like I spent thousands on Facebook ads. I didn't know what I was doing. And then I hired my business coach this year. He's like, don't do Facebook ads until you're doing this. This is all organic lead generation. This is all you need to know to earn thousands. Like he has clients doing 70K a month just from organic lead generation.
Awesome.
That's Facebook awesome. Ad. I was like, okay, that's good. You know, but just that piece of advice saved me even more money spending on them, right? And just, you know, hammering away, being like, what's working here? What's working? You know, just go hire a mentor or a coach, someone who's there where you want to be. They'll just show you the way. They'll streamline your success, right? So yeah, Warren Buffett, he invested in a $20 speaking coach or a speaking course for like $20, and he was like, it's the best investment I ever made. So, you know, just go and invest in yourself. Yeah, the best way to do it.
I agree, 100%. Oh man, we touched on a lot of stuff here. I'm sure investing in a coach or a speaking gig or something like that will be leaving the comfort zone for a lot of people. Let's talk about that, because I feel that getting out of your comfort zone is one of the best things that you can actually do. It's not, when you think about it logically, it's on a logical level, it's not something that will, where you will gain something because your whole body is telling you, no, don't go there, stop, you know, like all these limiting beliefs. But then afterwards, when you've gone through it, you basically get the reward there. Can you give a few examples there where you kind of left the comfort zone, and would you recommend it to people?
Look at all of that stuff. When you're thinking of doing something new or trying something new, whether it's going to, you know, a new gym class or joining a new gym or sports team or traveling to a new country or leaving your job or moving out, and all of those fear, doubts, and worries come up, it's all part of the paradigm. It's all just your old thought patterns and your old belief systems, which have basically been programmed into you since you were young, right? Yeah. Going back to the water and the dirt example. That's all that is. You can change those and start small. So if you want to expand your comfort zone and act like you're out of the comfort zone, just start small and change the habits. Okay. You know, the fear, you know, fear has been crazy for me over, you know, over the past few years. Any fear, and it's something I really push towards, is the fear you don't face becomes your limitations, right? So whether that's in business or personal life, I personally think the two are interconnected. They're all mental habits. Yeah. Right. So, you know, going from my personal life, like scuba diving, I was like, we learned to scuba dive over in Thailand, and I was terrible at it. I had to keep on coming up. I couldn't breathe underwater. I was freaking out. I couldn't breathe through my nose. Like, it was so weird. But, you know, thank God the instructors were really good. And then we scuba dived, and now we're scuba diving all over the world. And it's great. And I love it. So that's an example of facing the fear and doing it anyway. That's the title of a great book that you should go get. I forget who the author is, but face the fear and do it anyway. So, you know, personal life and business. In business, examples like this, I'm a huge introvert. Like, this was getting out of my comfort zone. Like, I'm just after a surf, so I'm a bit chilled out and I'm very happy. So, you know, and I always love talking to you. You're great. So, but again, it's putting myself out there, doing videos, putting Instagram in my face and putting myself out there to the world. You know, like, it's all getting out of your comfort zone. You're hugely vulnerable. There's trolls out there. But, you know, if it's not about that, and it's changing your perspective to, is this serving me, or is this going to serve my future clients? And that's what it's about. You know what I mean? It's not about, like, why would I act out of the negativity of others? True. Right? So getting out of your comfort zone, if it's going to do good to you or anyone else, go do it.
I agree. Right? Yeah, definitely.
And again, it's just changing perspective. It's not about you, it's about them. Whether that's in sales or getting out of your comfort zone or whatever else, it's about them.
I agree, man. And that's such a beautiful sentiment. Like, I feel that a lot of people who are kind of chasing money forget that fact. But basically, the biggest companies in the world are those that serve the most people. If you look at, let's say, Amazon for a second there, right? It brought the best service of delivering packages and quality goods in the shortest amount of time. They're reliable. Their website is amazing. Everything, you know? And they just kept improving everything they were doing, and of course they got amazing results, right? They followed all the principles and they served the end client. Like Jeff Bezos implemented that in the company from the start. He was always thinking of how to give the user of this the best experience. So if you focus on that, you're probably guaranteed to succeed, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But like, let's go deeper than that. Look how many families he feeds. How many employees does he have? All of them are earning money from Amazon and putting food on their family's table.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, there's a saying from, I think it's Grant Cardone. He says, "Success is my duty." It's kind of true. It's kind of cheesy, but it's kind of true as well, right?
It is.
Like, the more money you earn, the more you can give. That's why I give 20% of profits to the car restoration. I can only buy so many clothes. I can only fill up my fridge so much with food. I can only eat so much. I can only drive so many cars. You know what I mean? So like, it's not about you, man.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, do you
Yeah.
meet your physiological needs, you know, live a good life, but give. Like, you got to give more. And if you don't have a lot to give, then, you know, donate some time, volunteer so much, give €5 to, you know, a charity you like, and, you know, the more you give, the more you get, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Dropping some truth bombs here. People, if you're listening to this, if you're getting value out of this, leave us a comment. I would really like to know your opinions on this whole topic. I think we're going into some really deep stuff that can help a lot of people. Tell me, we're kind of coming to the last part of this podcast. Where are you kind of going right now? And if people want to reach out, where can they find you? Tell us a little bit about that. And I would also like to like, what's your vision for the future, maybe for the next few years? Like, in what direction are you going, man?
Yeah. So basically, get me up on Instagram. I guess that's where I'm kind of most active. I'm growing my following there nicely. I believe intimacy beats authority every day of the week. Something my business mentor told me. So, look, I don't care about the vanity figures or having thousands of followers. You know, like, I message my followers and being like, hey, like, if you follow me, I'll message you and go, hey, how are you? Tell me a bit more about yourself. You know, if you're not a bot, like, we'll have a great conversation, right? So yeah, intimacy beats authority. So I'm kind of most active over on Instagram. There's a saying by Confucius that says, the man who chases two rabbits catches none. So that applies to business and life. And, you know, if you're on, you know, it's great being on YouTube and podcasting and LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram and Snapchat and TikTok and all of these. Go do you if you want to reach the most amount of people. I know for me, my target audience, I get sales off Instagram. I like doing Instagram because I put huge emphasis on self-care and happiness. I don't want to spend my whole day trying to put out all of these content, editing videos. Like, you're a hustler. Like, you put in a lot of work to get your content out there. And like, it's super inspiring, but it's not for everyone.
Yeah,
right.
I agree.
So like, for me, I do well off Instagram. I grow on Instagram, does the job for me. So, you know, hit me up on Instagram. For the future, I mean, I guess our biggest project is we're trying to fund a coral restoration center and education center in Mauritius. So we're trying to raise money for that at the moment. It's not like a donate me thing. We just give 20% of profits over. So yeah, if you're into mentoring, coaching, if you want to set up a side business, specifically service-based side businesses, and you want to earn 5 figures per month within 60 days, hit me up on Instagram. We'll have a conversation, apply for the coaching there, you know, let me know. And, you know, hopefully we can work together. Coaching is a two-way thing, right?
Yeah.
If you're not willing to put in the work, if you're not motivated, if you're entitled, then go somewhere else. I'm not into that. All right. I want people to put in the work. I'll show you the strategies that have worked for me and my clients. And yeah, let's create something great. In terms of the future, then I guess like kind of personal goals is, you know, that Cork Restoration Centre is huge for us. But yeah, we'll be looking to buy an international property within, we have a timeline on it. I'm not going to say it, but yeah, within the next few years, that's kind of the next few things that myself and Alexander are looking at. And then getting into the real estate game as well. My parents have a bit of real estate, but yeah, we just want to, you know, we want to grow that, get some passive income behind of us and build our asset class.
Yeah, and build your own thing, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and look at real estate's incredible. There's only so much land that God builds, right? So
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, look, now we're soon going to go to Mars, so there might be a lot more land available soon. You know.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, and always at the end of this podcast, like my main goal here is to provide value to people. Like, is there like a message that you would send out to people watching or listening that kind of might impact their lives, or something that's like a finishing thought to end the podcast in a strong, energetic manner? Like, what would you say to everyone listening?
Yeah, look, I think one of the most important messages I said today was stop going negative, go neutral. You know, you don't have to jump to positive straight away, just neutral thinking, right? Look up Trevor Moawad. He's really good on Instagram, on YouTube as well. He does a lot of work with Russell Wilson, who's the quarterback for the Seattle Seahawks. You know, guy's legit, right? He does a lot of research. It's science-based. You don't need to believe in the law of attraction and that if you're not ready for it. So just go to neutral thinking. That's for everyone. Okay, now let's say you're at neutral or positive and you want to grow success. 2 things you should be doing every single day is gratitude journaling and brag booking. Gratitude journaling. Write down 3 simple things every single day that you're grateful for. Okay, it'll put you on a great vibration. If you don't know that word, look it up. Law of vibration. The second thing is brag booking. You have to have a certain level of self-esteem and self-confidence. If you want to get on the sales calls, get out of your comfort zone and do things that the 1% do. You have to have a certain level of self-esteem and self-confidence. All right? So that's brag booking. You got to build that as well. It's not cocky. It's just being confident in yourself. Okay? So they are 2, you know, huge but little habits that you can do every single day.
Awesome stuff, man.
Yeah, the third thing is smash the like button, follow Borna. Yeah, he's a great guy. He's putting out content out there. Great energy. Connect with him, connect with me, and unfollow people online and in real life that aren't serving you.
I agree, man. Tell me, where did you hear about brag booking? Like, I never heard about that, but it sounds so cool. Is that your concept?
No, business mentor, Xander Fryer. Yeah.
Awesome. Sounds good. I'll look it up online. It sounds fun.
Yeah, go and brag about yourself, man. You're awesome.
Thanks, bro. Same to you, man. Thanks for the good energy that you brought to the podcast. You've gone through a lot here. Like, anybody listening, I would encourage to go through this at least one more time. There are some points that need to be written down and kind of reviewed and gone through over again. I believe there's a lot of value in this one. Jonathan, thank you very much for taking the time and coming to the Uncle Gold podcast. And thanks everyone who's still with us at the end of this. I know it's been a little bit longer, but I like this longer profile when we get to chatting about everything. So yeah, thank you again for taking the time. And I'm sure that people would like to hear more. Maybe in a few months we can do like a follow-up on this one, chat again, discover some new topics that might be useful. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, man. Always here for a chat. Yeah, love talking with you. You're doing a great job. So let's connect anytime.
Perfect. Thanks again. And yeah, I hope you have a great week. Thanks for everyone who's watching on YouTube and listening on the podcast. Guys, I hope you have a great week. Leave us a comment definitely on how you like this podcast. Your feedback means the world to us. Tell us how you like the topics that we discussed here with Jonathan. And we'll see you in the new podcast.
The Uncle Gold Podcast.